Kid Rock. The man who refused to Kid Rock was never supposed to last. He was too controversial, too loud, too vulgar, too unpredictable. He got fined by the FCC, dropped by his label, banned from radio, thrown out of award shows, fought at the VMAs, protested by civil rights groups, mocked by critics, and yet more than 3 decades later, he's still selling out arenas, still moving records, still headlining festivals, still building businesses, still polarizing America. How does someone survive that many scandals without getting erased? How does a rapper from suburban Michigan turn himself into a rock icon, then a country star, then a political lightning rod, and somehow keep winning? To understand how he pulled that off, you have to go back to the beginning, before the mullet, before the American flag poncho, before the fights, before the headlines. Because the Kid Rock story starts with a myth. And that myth wasn't real. Disappear. The street kid who wasn't. For years, people believed Kid Rock came from the streets of Detroit. Image fit. The swagger. The grit. The Detroit shoutouts. The rebellious attitude. But the truth was very different. Robert James Ritchie was born in 1971 into a well-off family. His father owned multiple car dealerships. They weren't struggling. They weren't scraping by. They weren't living in public housing. They lived on a large property with an orchard. That doesn't exactly scream hard knock life. And yet, image matters in music, especially in hip-hop. And in the late 80s, hip-hop was exploding. Young Bob Ritchie fell in love with it. Breakdancing, DJing, scratching records, party culture. He joined a breakdance crew. He taught himself how to rap. He studied the flows, cadence, the attitude. But here's what separated him early on. He was a natural networker. He wasn't just talented. He was strategic. He connected with D-Nice, a respected rapper linked to KRS-One. That connection changed everything. Suddenly, this suburban white kid from Michigan had credibility. And before most artists even sniff a deal, Kid Rock signed with Jive Records. That was a major label. He was barely out of his teens. He could have become the next Vanilla Ice. But instead, he detonated his own opportunity. Too raw for the radio. In 1990, Kid Rock released his debut album, Grits Sandwiches for Breakfast. The title alone told you something. This wasn't safe. This wasn't polished. This wasn't pop rap. The lyrics were wild, explicit, aggressive, profanity-laced beyond what radio could tolerate. One single reportedly triggered an FCC fine when it aired uncensored. That kind of heat that early can burn a career down. And Jive Records dropped him. Just like that. No more major label backing. No mainstream push. No industry safety net. For most artists, that's the end of the story. But for Kid Rock, it became the foundation. Instead of softening his image, he leaned harder into it. He released underground projects. The Polyfuse Method. Early Mornin' Stoned Pimp. The lyrics didn't get cleaner. If anything, they got more unfiltered. Radio still wouldn't touch him. But fans did. He toured relentlessly. Small clubs, dirty stages, anywhere that would book him. He built a cult following brick by brick. There was something magnetic about the chaos. And while the industry ignored him, the audience was growing. Then everything changed in 1998. Love fights and headlines. When Kid Rock began dating Pamela Anderson, the tabloids went wild. Made sense. 2 controversial icons. 2 media magnets. They got engaged, broke up, got back together, eventually married, then divorced. But the real chaos came from the tension with Tommy Lee, Pamela's ex-husband, drummer of Motley Crue, a man not known for calm conflict resolution. The feud simmered. Then it erupted. At the 2007 VMAs, during a live broadcast, Kid Rock and Tommy Lee got into a physical altercation. Chairs moved. Security rushed in. Rock reportedly slapped Lee first. Millions watching. That wasn't the only incident. There was a Waffle House brawl. A lawsuit followed. Probation. Reports of altercations at clubs. Stories of kicking down the wrong hotel room door in Vegas looking for Tommy Lee, only to find a startled family instead. Each headline chipped at his image. But here's what's strange. None of it killed his career. If anything, it reinforced the outlaw persona. And just when people thought he'd burn out completely, he pivoted again. The American reinvention. In 2002, Picture with Sheryl Crow hit the airwaves. Softer sound. Country ballad. A duet about heartbreak. It was massive. Suddenly Kid Rock wasn't just rap rock chaos. He was crossing into country music. A different audience. A different demographic. A different longevity curve. But controversy followed him. He wore an American flag poncho during performances. Critics accused him of desecrating the flag. Later, his past use of the Confederate flag resurfaced during an NAACP honor in 2011. Protests followed. National Action Network leaders publicly challenged him. Reverend Al Sharpton criticized him. Kid Rock responded bluntly. No polished PR language. No corporate apology tour. He eventually stopped using the Confederate imagery, something he had already done years earlier, but the narrative stuck. And the divide between media perception and fan loyalty grew wider. Some saw recklessness, others saw defiance. He wasn't trying to please both, and that might have been the point. The political firestorm. By the mid-2010s, Kid Rock wasn't just a musician. He was a cultural lightning rod. Outspoken, blunt, unfiltered. He made headlines for comments about Oprah, for stage rants, for political alignment, for Tennessee residency, for distancing himself from Detroit business ventures. The media framed him as controversial, but ticket sales told another story. He continued to sell out tours, continued to move merchandise, continued to headline events, continued to cultivate a fiercely loyal fan base. And here's what critics underestimated. Kid Rock understood his audience. He knew exactly who he was speaking to. He wasn't chasing approval from every demographic. He was locking in the ones who already believed in him. That's not accidental branding. That's deliberate positioning. And while many artists struggled in the age of cancellation, Kid Rock adapted. Why he never fell off. Most artists peak once. Kid Rock has peaked multiple times. Hip-hop era, rap rock era, country crossover era, political persona era. Every time the culture shifted, he shifted with it. He built restaurants, launched cruises, created a lifestyle brand, kept touring aggressively, stayed visible. He didn't depend on radio. He didn't depend on streaming trends. He depended on people showing up. And they still do. Because whether you love him or hate him, Kid Rock represents something rare in modern music. Unapologetic identity. He doesn't soften edges to survive. He sharpens them. And that has kept him relevant longer than many of his critics expected. Kid Rock's story isn't clean. It's messy, loud, contradictory, profane at times. He wasn't raised in poverty, but he built a street image. He got dropped, then sold 14 million records. He fought publicly. He pivoted musically. He faced backlash. He doubled down. And through all of it, he never disappeared. In an industry that chews artists up and spits them out within 5 years, Kid Rock is still here. Still touring. Still polarizing. Still profitable. Love him or hate him. He figured out how to survive. And the story, it's not over yet.
Thank you, my viewer. I hope you keep it here on my channel for more discoveries on all the celebrities' untold journeys. Like, comment, and subscribe on Hajararama channel. Thank you so much.